How to upgrade and make your video a little bit better and good looking in the edit. In this knowledge clip I'll give you a lot of tips about editing with Adobe Premiere. Well, a couple of ways to make your video look a lot smoother are the L and the J cut. On your keyboard you can use a rolling tool, but I'm gonna show it to you visually.
So you've actually seen the J-cut way more than you realize. It's just simply leading into the next scene with the audio like this. See what I mean? So this cut is as simple as it sounds. You just drag the audio clip from the next clip over on top of your current clip. It's a good way to kind of segue into the next scene, change locations, and let the audience know what's about to happen. So this brings us to the L cut. The L cut is exactly what the J cut is, but flipped. So my audio right now will take us into the next shot. So the L cut is actually absolutely essential for conversational scenes because you're gonna have two characters, one of them is gonna be saying something, and then you're gonna cut to the other character as that first character is still talking. That's an L cut.
The rolling tool on your keyboard, just try it, press N, and then you can extend your video or your audio. Also, a nice trick to smoothen the edits of your video is to work always in the same way, systematically. If someone else continues your edit, he or she knows exactly what to do and where the material is. So the general agreement is third video layer, the titles, the second, the B-roll, and on the first video layer, your interview shots. On your first audio layer, your interview audio, the second, your voiceover, third, the audio of your B-roll, and on track number 4 and 5, you can put the music and the audio effects. Right. Some more rules I want to mention to you. The B-roll. Always a minimum of 2 or 3 shots to cover a cut. Or your voiceover, of course. So never just one shot, please. Because your viewer needs a little bit more time to orientate where he or she is, what is happening. Never end with an interview shot. Make a clear end sequence of B-roll shots, or use soundbite for closure. And only end with a quote if there's really no other solution. You don't have any other footage or whatever. I want you to play with your voiceover. You already inserted your quotes on your timeline, and then you think, how can I connect with my voiceover text? For instance, you can make a question or a sentence that will be answered by the next quote of your interviewee. And in this way it looks as if your voiceover is active and involved in the report, although you record your voiceover in a later moment, of course. Always record some background noise if you go filming. Don't talk, just wait and record. And sometimes the interview didn't go well, you want to make a cut and you don't have any material to fill the gap, so then you can use the street sounds that you recorded, the ambient noise. Here are some shortcuts that are very useful. In your clip you've got a white line that you can drag up and down, and always do the end mix on -6. Beware it doesn't go into the red, because then your audio will go clipping, a little bit like this. You'll hear digital clicks in your exports, and that is very nasty. And why -6? Well, that's the standard in video and TV land, so as a viewer you don't have to turn your volume up or down all the time if an editor didn't do his or her job right. Have you recorded your audio too low? Then you can boost it with gain. Type G on your keyboard, so that's gain. You can adjust the volume then, but only use it when lifting of that white line I mentioned before doesn't work enough. Mind you, lifting your audio is not ideal. You'll lift the background noise as well. So always try to record it at -6 already, and you don't have to do a lot about it. And there's another very nice shortcut, Command or Control-Shift-D. Select all your audio and then use the Command or Control-Shift-D button. Premiere will add audio crossfade on really every clip. That saves you a very lot of time. You don't have to do it all separately. Of course, you have to check it afterwards if it is as planned, of course. Then you have the pen tool, the P on your keyboard. You can use this to adjust the volume of a small section of your audio. I really use it a lot, and you can really shape your audio more beautiful. If you click on the line, you'll get a dot if you use the pen tool. Then click on another part, again a dot, and then you can very easily drag that line up and down, your audio louder or softer. Let's do color correction right now. Of course, you want to have the right skin color of your interviewees, and those plants you filmed, they have to have the original natural green color, of course. Your smartphone will do this all automatically most of the time, but that's not always so. It's even with a professional camera so. Then you have to color grade or color correct it. It's not so much used for news items, more for video clips and art movies. What do you do? Step 1. You take one clip and then you color correct it to your wishes. Step number 2. You make all other clips the same as that first standard clip. So every time you go back to that standard clip and you compare if the colors are the same. Yeah, it's very nice to take your video to the next level, but it's a lot of work. Here's a nice example. In the right shot, you see that something went wrong with the white balance during the recording. The walls and the jacket of the older lady are not real white, it's more sort of a yellow, and it should be as in the left shot. How do you adjust it in Premiere? Well, go to color, and then you have a lot of correction possibilities on the right side. Go to the basic selection, that's WB selection, and click on the part of which you think it should be whiter, for instance that wall, and you click on it and then this happens. If you're gonna do color correction or color grading, don't just do something out of the blue, then it's gonna be a mess. Do it systematically, use the 2 steps I just mentioned, and always in the same way. And beware, doing a good color correction takes a lot of experience. There are companies really specialized in this. Yeah, it's not easy, but go and try and play with it. Yeah, a nice way to do so is the LUT. It's not correcting, color correction, but it's grading, color grading. And you have presets in Premiere, and you can find it under Effects, and then you can give your video another kind of sphere. And with this you can also get the color of the shots of multiple cameras similar. That's very nice because sometimes you film with a GoPro or a smartphone, 2 smartphones, another combination with a HDV camera, of course. And with these presets of the LUT, you can get the colors on the different cameras very more alike. And be aware, the human skin is always your reference point. Look at the second shot of these boys. The color of their faces is still okay, even after color grading or color correction. Alright, some more shortcuts. Sometimes you only want to cut in your video or just your audio, one of the 2. Then use Command or Control L to unlink your audio from video. I use it a lot, but be aware if you do it with interviews, there is a chance that your interviewee is no longer lip sync, and then it's very hard to get it right again. Another shortcut, you think I've got a very nice edit and just in between two clips I want to paste another one. You can select all others and drag it, but this one is easier. On your keyboard, hit A, click your first clip on your first clip of your selection, and then you can drag the whole bunch. And sometimes you want one specific clip not to move, hit A, and Premiere selects all clips and then press Shift and V so that this one clip is deselected. Well, I think you know this one already. With the plus and the minus on your keyboard, you can maximize and minimize your clip. And with Shift C, you cut through all video and audio layers in once. Most of the time you will use that one. Alright, the pen tool for changing specific audio you know already, I mentioned it, but you have got also essential sounds. Select your clip first and then you can give it a function in essential sound. You've got dialogue, music, repair, and then you can play with it. If you recorded your audio well, you don't need this, but it can be fun. Just try it. Especially the different kind of voices are very nice to play with. Always edit with your headphone on, and then you'll hear the audio left or right. Tip, select your clip, hit your right mouse button, select modify, and then you can import presets in the audio. And if you take mono Premiere, we'll split the audio layers and then you got your audio on a different track. Another example is dynamics. That's a tool that you use if there's a big difference between volume in one quote. If someone has a lavalier like this one and he is moving his head a little bit to the left or the right, and if especially if the lavalier is on one side and he's talking like this and he's talking like that, then you'll get a difference in sound, different in audio volume. Right, then you can do it with dynamics. Right, we'll put the clip a little bit better on. And then you've got AQ. With this filter you can do your audio. You can use this mainly to get rid of nasty sounds, audio sounds that, such as wind, for instance, or other sounds you get rid of from a fridge, for instance, the humming sound. And then you can remove it with HQ.
Okay, so I just went ahead and put this clip in, made a sequence from it. Just being stupid. Word.
Hey, I'm Tim Lewis.
Take a look at the meters here.
Very quiet right now. And now I'm really loud. But you know, now I'm a little bit quiet.
So as you can see, I go from loud to quiet to loud to quiet. That might be annoying to some people. Okay, so the effect that you want is dynamics. So drag that over onto your clip, bring that up here, go to effects, scroll down, edit, and then you'll get this window here. The two effects that I'm going to show you today are compressor and limiter. Make sure they're both checked like that. So if you guys don't know what a compressor is, basically it amplifies quiet sounds and lowers loud sounds. In this case, I want to amplify a quiet sound. The thing is with compressors that they can't do both. That's where a limiter comes in, and I'll show you both of those right now. So with both limiter and compressor checked, I'm going to start with compressor. These are the settings it starts as, which is pretty good. So with compressor, I want to amplify the quiet sound. So let me just expand this here, and as you can see, that's the loud and that's the quiet. Let's see where quiet is at.
Very quiet right now.
So maybe around -20. So I want to have the threshold go to -20.
very quiet right now.
Okay, so you can kind of see it's kind of equaling it out. That's where makeup comes in.
I'm very quiet right now.
Let's just turn off this limiter right now just to see where I'm going here. Let's try 15 dB makeup.
I'm very quiet right now.
I just set the threshold at -20, so anything above -20 is bumped up 15 dB. So basically that means that this audio is going to be really loud.
And now I'm really loud!
Did you see that? That red isn't good, so that's where limiter comes in. Limiter basically means, so you set the threshold. So I'm going to set it at -3, so that means that anything that reaches -3 gets cut off. Do not go above -3. It limits the audio.
Be quiet right now. And now I'm really loud!
Look at that, wow, look at that. You don't want everything to be exactly -3 the entire time. You want your audio to be a little bit dynamic. That's where the effect name comes in.
Here's an example of the big role that sound in your video can play. Yeah, we call this sound design, and you can add sounds to enhance something, so just like they did with Reebok. And sometime when you are recording, there are sounds that you want to have better, a little bit louder, for instance footsteps, and you can use these websites to help you in this. It's very nice. Just try it, go and look for it, and if you use Sound Dogs, you don't have to pay anything. Just try to download each sound and it will be free, surprisingly. And last but not least, the subtitling. Very important, the making of captions. Click in Premiere on File, New, Captions, and very important, choose in standard Open Captions. And if you do this, it's possible to change your captions later on. With this method, you can subtitle your whole video, and when you click on Open Caption, a menu appears. In step 4, you can add a caption each time if you click on the plus symbol down below. And beware, there are certain rules that you have to follow. You can read with me. The subtitling must be maximum 2 lines, always centered. You can arrange this under font. If a subtitling is too long, break it down into 2 logical pieces, please, that are equal in length. If the sentence continues in the next line, use 3 dots, dot, 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 and the next line you'll begin without dots. Sometimes you've got 2 speakers in just one subtitling or in just one quote. Every speaker has a separate line, and begin about 2 to 5 frames before the audio begins with the subtitling. The viewer now has the feeling everything is synchronized, of course. And remember, the average viewer needs about 3 seconds to read one line, so don't go too fast, please. Right, this was the knowledge clip editing with Adobe Premiere. One last tip, never ask an editor to explain what he's doing.
Hi, I just wanted to send you this video. Can't say that.
Get out and make sure that the
Editing process.
The editing process takes a really long time. It takes an average of
and put it onto the next part. The next step is inputting.
We go through and look at your questionnaire, a fourth editor, and this person.
When a camera operator is
This is my best side, right?